Hi, and welcome to Healthy Living. My name is Cheryl McWilliams, and we're here today in the studio with Dr. Timothy Howe and his wife, Lynn. Thank you for being here. So today's topic is something that's pretty near and dear to my heart, and that is looking at the whole issue of toxins and pollutants and what we can do naturally in our environment to help. I have discovered over the past couple of years that I have some strange allergies. One of them is to formaldehyde and other kinds of toxins. And in spending some time with you, I learned that there's a lot of research going on now related to plants and the medicinal use of plants as it relates to getting toxins out of our air. So I'm really interested in what you're learning and how these things can help and what I can get to put in my office in my home that could help me and help our guests as well.
Indoor pollution is a big problem, Cheryl. The Environmental Protection Agency ranks indoor pollution as one of the top health risks to our country today. It's amazing. Today we spend 90% of our time indoors, and our air pollution levels can be really quite high, especially with computers, computer screens, printers. Our indoor air pollution is a large problem for us today.
Well, when you think about computers and televisions, there are other kinds of things as well. The fumes from the cleaning products that we're using, it just seems to go on and on. As I began grappling with some of my own allergies, I was floored at the places where I found, for example, formaldehyde. When I ordered a new desk, I had to think about, does that desk off-gas formaldehyde? Who knew? Or clothing. There's so many places and the fact that we're spending more and more of our time indoors as opposed to outdoors is yet another problem for a different conversation. But tell us a little bit about what you're finding out related to plants and other things that can help with the indoor pollution.
First of all, this problem really became acute in the 1970s, when we had air pollution indoors because of tightening our homes. If you live in a home that's old and the doors don't fit tight and the windows don't fit tight and there's a lot of air blowing through, indoor pollution is not a big problem. But as energy costs increase, we've tightened our homes, and in the tightening of them, that's when we have more problems with air pollution. So this is a problem that has grown markedly in the last 35, 40 years.
I've read that actually the tightening is a problem, but that we should, even in Maine, even in the dead of winter, consider maybe leaving a little crack in our window in order to get some fresh air through.
You can use either a crack in your window. I wouldn't recommend you crack your windows. Maybe open them would be better. But perhaps the best is some of the newer technology where your home is engineered so that the air that's leaving warms the incoming air, and that's even better as far as energy savings. And very important, while still giving you fresh air and allowing the indoor pollution to be at a minimum.
I was just going to add to that it's true. You know, in our homes, we can work towards the most green products, looking for paint, looking for varnish, looking for cabinets, couches, carpet that are going to have the least toxins that they're off-gassing. But as you very well stated, it's a huge problem. It's in our paper towels. You know, it's everywhere. And so that's one reason that I'm particularly interested in what plants do to our air, is that as careful as we can be, particularly here in Maine where we have a long winter and we can open our houses as much as we can on a good day, but still, you know, that air is pretty static, you know, unless we have an air exchanger or something fancy in our homes. So to take aggressive action, you know, action that's meaningful towards the problem is pretty exciting. And Dr. Wolverton, who worked with NASA doing research in particularly precisely which toxins, which plants removed from the air, and how many parts, you know, per million they removed, was able to find very concrete evidence of which plants removed which toxins at which rate.
Wow.
And he wrote a book, you know, that I would recommend anyone consider if you're really wanting to study into this for yourself. How to Grow Fresh Air by Dr. BC Wolverton. And in it, he describes 50 house plants and ranks them according to how much moisture do they put back into the air, and we know that we do need a good amount of moisture in our air in the wintertime. Ease of care, which are the difficult plants to maintain, which are easier, which ones are the most resistant to insect
That's a big
problems.
one for me because this thumb is brown.
Is not great. Right, and which plants get the very highest marks for removing toxins, and even mentions specific plants that are particularly excellent at removing perhaps formaldehyde, if that's one that you're interested in.
Interesting. So what I think I just heard you say was various products in our home or our workspaces or whatever are off-gassing. And what we mean by off-gassing is literally the chemicals or the toxins that are coming out of these products. And those chemicals and toxins come out over time, just when they're brand new. How does that work?
They come out most when they're brand new. If you look at a graph of it, you get the highest release initially, but they outgas for a long time at low levels. And you can't live in a perfect world, but you can take steps to improve the air quality of your home, and you can take steps to, if you're building or adding an addition to your home, to use products that have less off-gassing. For instance, particle board off-gasses large amounts of formaldehyde. But here in Maine we have a product called oriented strand board, or OSB, that uses a different resin that doesn't off-gas formaldehyde. So OSB is a good alternative to plywood or to particle board because it doesn't off-gas formaldehyde. But if you live in an older home like we do that's already built, you can't fix that, so you go for plants and fresh air when you can.